This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, November 10th, 2008, and this is episode 486 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Initial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, do I need to point out to you that my Colts beat your Steelers?
Your Colts?
Colts.
You were from Indianapolis when?
South. Indianapolis South. Really. Florida, just, you know.
That was a painful loss.
I've been a Colts fan since the days of Jim Harbaugh, Captain Comeback. I am not a bandwagon fan.
All right, if you say so. Well, then you know what? Hopefully we'll make it up to you guys in the playoffs. We'll see.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio, and Mike, the Jets won today.
Yeah, by a point or two.
Hey, it's a win.
Or 30, whatever.
Perhaps a little more than that, Jim.
Also joining us today is Mike Scopa of a blogger over at allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
You may not survive to pass this way
again.
Norway.
Norway, yeah.
Nope.
Oh, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
There you go.
Gotcha.
And I knew it was a boat ride. And also joining us today is the fabulous Annette Owens, a travel agent over at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, thanks for not talking sports with me.
Anytime. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the DVC resorts and talking about ranking them and what our thoughts are on all of them, because there are so many of them out there. And, of course, you don't have to be a DVC member to stay at a DVC resort. Lord knows that I'm a perfect example of that, as I've stayed at many of them. And many of them are quite good, and there's quite a number of them. So I thought we'll just start, talking about them. So let's start over at Saratoga Springs. And we've talked about this before. We actually had an whole episode dedicated to this resort, and I'll put a link in the show notes to it when I get around to the show notes. But anyway, we'll kind of give the 10-second review of the resort. I really like Saratoga. I think it's really well done. And, of course, with the impending opening of the Treehouse Villas, I think its stock is on the rise.
The Treehouse Villas are going to be a Saratoga Springs resort?
Yes.
Didn't know that. That's going to be fabulous.
That's right. So all those people that just bought into, Saratoga and were like, oh, God, then after that came out Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then obviously Temporary Bay.
Oh, that's going to be a huge, I love that. That's going to be fabulous.
Yeah. So you've got,
the Saratoga Springs is nice in that it's, some of the newer resort. It doesn't have the sort of the landscaping that the old Key West has, because it's not mature enough yet. But I think the dining is getting better.
I love the surf club.
Yeah, the rooms themselves. I like the bathroom setups at Saratoga Springs, especially the master bath.
Yes.
Better than any DVC.
Yes, they're very nice.
I like the glass shower better. I think it's a little bit more spacious than the others.
Oh, yeah.
I like the whole setup there. Not as big as old Key West in terms of square footage, but it has much more extensive, I think, walking paths, much more open. It's very close to downtown Disney.
Yep. Annette, what do you think of Saratoga?
I love the location for Saratoga, actually. If you're going and you're not really there to jump into a park first thing in the morning, you really want to, a little relaxing vacation, this is a great location. I know the kids have been there and just had a ball walking the trails to downtown Disney. Mm-hmm. It is a nice little hike, depending on where you're staying, but, just taking it all in, you don't really feel like you're right there at downtown till you get there, and the views at night are just gorgeous.
Yes, from the Congress Park area of downtown Disney, it's just amazing. Let's move on to so definitely a thumbs up for Saratoga. I mean, we all.
I think so. Yeah.
Old Key West. I think we have a few biased people on this show that when it comes to Old Key West. But Mike, why don't you kind of give your overall thoughts on Old Key West?
One of the things I like about Old Key West is it's laid out more of a community setting, whereas you come in, you pull into your the security gate, you say who you are, and it's set up into little roads, almost like if you were living in a condo. And I like that atmosphere more than the typical resort.
Yeah. Certainly, I think, Len, you mentioned it. The garden theming of it was really quite nice in terms of how they have the landscaping.
The landscaping is lush. I really like the way that they've set up the roads so they're not like a grid system. Like, it doesn't look like you're driving on graph paper, which some planned communities do. Mm-hmm. It's got gentle turns. You're going along. Is that a waterway, Mike, on the left-hand side when you're driving in?
Yes, the Sasagula River.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, one of the good things about both Old Key West and Saratoga Springs are the rates that you can get, because those two resorts are often overlooked by many guests who don't want to stay there for one reason or another. And you can get a studio there for a little bit more than a moderate, but you get a huge. What you get for it is huge compared to what you would get in a moderate, or paying a lot more for a deluxe. So it's really a nice mix between the two.
I think something else with Saratoga and also Old Key West, as somebody that drives from North Carolina down to stay, you get to stay right there and park right by your building, which you're not going to get at some of the other villas. So for those of us that bring all of our stuff with us, unpacking the car is not a huge chore, and your car is right there. You don't have to hike like you have to at some of the other villas.
The other thing I like about Old Key West, I like a couple things. One is the rooms are extremely spacious. They're by far, I think, the largest.
They're huge
rooms of any DVC. The patios out back are just fabulous. They've got ceiling fans out back, so you can sit on the patios in the morning and have breakfast, or at night and have drinks with the ceiling fan going. And during the summer, even during the fall and during the late spring, when it's a little bit warm outside, the fan provides just the right amount of breeze to make everybody comfortable. I mean, it's just so relaxing. You can open up the back door and have the breeze come in, and you're overlooking the Sassagoula River. It really is I think it's an amenity I think that a lot of people overlook. But man, once you're there and you realize that you can go out there and do that, you'll spend every night or every morning out there, just 5 or 10 minutes before you go out and get involved with the crowds. You'll spend 5 or 10 minutes out there either in the morning or at night, just unwinding and relaxing.
Great point.
And just letting all attention go.
Let's talk about the Boardwalk Villas. I've stayed here once. Net, you stayed here a couple times, I think, right?
Just a few.
A few, that's right. Boardwalk was one when I was, over the years, it's always been one that I always wanted to stay at the most, and I was able to stay there for the first time. I really like, obviously, the location is phenomenal. You can't beat it. The only problem I had with it was just the location of my room, I think, was at the studios, because it felt like such a long walk. But I really do enjoy it, though. I mean, it's just beautifully themed, wonderful theme to it. Everything about it is really quite nice. Annette, why don't you talk a little bit more about the Boardwalk, since you know it quite well?
Yeah, well, I have to say, when the kids were a little younger, that was their favorite pool.
Really?
Okay. They love the water slide coming down through the Clown's Mouth. That was their favorite. That's where they wanted to stay. I think another thing is now having younger teenagers, it's a great, safe location for them to go and wander at night around the Boardwalk area over to Yacht and Beach Club. Yeah. But they're still close enough that Mom can look off the balcony and watch and see where they're at. But the rooms there, I think all of them have great views. And Matt, I've been with you at the very last room on the very end of the hall, looking at the Tower of Terror and the tennis courts. But even that was a pretty cool view at night.
Absolutely. I mean, the location is phenomenal, and of the Epcot ones, I think that's the better in terms of room and everything like that.
The one problem that I've had with Boardwalk rooms is when you open the door. Or the window, go out on the balcony. Sometimes the boat traffic will have horns that'll, be fairly regular in terms of its annoyingness. Like whenever they're docking, whenever they're coming out to dock, you'll hear it if you've got a water facing room.
Right.
It'll the noise from the boat traffic is sort of odd. The time that the first time I ever stayed at Boardwalk, I was across the hall from Steven Tyler of Aerosmith.
Oh.
And yeah, it was during the opening of Rock and Roller Coaster.
You.
Yeah, well, it's a great story. We'll have to say it another time. But we had a water facing room, whereas Steven Tyler did not actually. And having Steven across was pretty cool. But the boat traffic was the one thing that I remember, even when I was trying to take a nap, that everything else in the room was fairly quiet, but you could hear the boats, and that was. I'm not saying it was bad. It was just like, when you started listening for it, you could definitely hear it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you can ask Len about his story about Aerosmith on our next live show, which is Sunday, November 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how the song "Dude Looks Like a Lady" came about, but anyway, it's a long story.
Anyway, so yeah, Boardwalk we like quite a bit. Let's move across the waterway to the Yacht and Beach Club. And the Island Beach Club are nice in their own respect. Nothing wrong with them. But I think really the highlight when you talk about the Island Beach Club is, of course, the pool over there, Stormalong Bay, which is which is a mini resort in itself. I mean, for those who haven't stayed there,
it's a mini water park in and of itself. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, basically, for those who've never stayed there or had an opportunity to swim there, what it is it's a sand bottom pool that is just absolutely huge with a great water slide. I mean, kids and adults just love it. I mean, it's one of those things where you get there if you're staying there, and you definitely want to just stay in the pool all day because it's that cool and that much fun.
You could conceivably spend, if not the entire day, an entire afternoon in the pool instead of going to a water park easily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But I mean, aside from the Stormalong Bay, Len, what do you think about the rooms at Yacht and Beach?
So the DVC rooms at Beach Club I think are interesting. I stayed there in I stayed there in June with Hannah. And my first impression of the rooms, if you got one of the farther rooms at Beach Club, dude, it is entirely like the hotel from The Shining. You just walk and walk and walk down this long. I mean, Annette, you laugh, but isn't it true? You walk down some of those far hallways, and you're like, dude, if I turn the corner and I see twins walking towards me, I'm getting the hell out of here. You know, dude, I'm just leaving. It was. I mean, the rooms are okay. We had a studio. They're absolutely fine. I don't, in terms of DVC, I don't like them as much as the other resorts like Animal Kingdom Lodge or, Beach, Saratoga Springs or anything like that. It's adequate. I think that those are the rooms where they said, you know what, let's turn this hotel into a DVC rather than building something from scratch. And I think that shows. I think that's why actually, Annette, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the points that you need for Beach Club villas are often lower than for some of the other resorts.
It can be lower than Boardwalk. Yeah. I mean, Old Key West and Saratoga are always going to be your lower ones, but
yeah. So that's and I think that's probably why.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Wilderness Lodge villas, which is the DVC component of the Wilderness Lodge. And these are they have a kind of their own little cult following, the Wilderness Lodge. And the villas, of course. I have not stayed at the villas. I've only stayed at the lodge itself. Can someone comment on the villas that stayed there?
We stayed there last February, actually, and had a 2-bedroom and 4 girls and us, and it's like most of the DVC resorts. I think if you like that woodsy feel and you like that type of atmosphere, that's great. Again, you kind of feel like almost like at the Beach Club where you're kind of out by yourself.
Yeah. It's a bit far from like the boat launch and other things, right?
Parking. Yeah.
Parking, food,
parking,
food, transportation, the main building, stuff like that. Other than that,
but you have the fitness club.
That's true. And you know what it is? It is pretty. It's funny. Oddly, the villa, Wilderness Lodge villa rooms tested very well in the unofficial guide room tests. It's and I do like the theming. It's just it tends to be a bit more in terms of points, and I don't love the location just because of the transportation options. But other than that, it's okay.
Yeah, one of the things I really like, I haven't stayed there, but I have walked in over there to take a look around. One of the things it used to be called the Iron Spike Room. What is it called now? It's like the
Iron Spike Room.
Iron Spike Room. Yeah, it's this thing downstairs in the main level of the building where really anyone can go in there, and they have all this great Disney memorabilia. They have the old train set that Walt had built back home.
Yeah.
It's called something else now, and I'm sure one of our listeners will post in the show notes, so thank you, whoever that might be, Andy or whoever. Anyway, very nice over there, but so that's my only experience over there. The one resort, though, of course, that usually when we're talking about Animal Kingdom Lodge, we're also going to have to talk about Animal Kingdom Lodge, because, like the Wilderness Lodge, the Animal Kingdom Lodge, this is something that's just, they're starting to really come into their own, because they've been offering DVC for the least of all these resorts. Mm-hmm. And Animal Kingdom Lodge, obviously I'm sure many of our listeners are familiar with the lodge itself, having stayed there, including myself. And the villas are something they're building out. They're kind of this own little, I kind of call it like the cool kids club, just for Animal Kingdom Lodge, because they are making it really, really interesting. Obviously, with the advent of the Savannah View being the main draw over there, I think that really separates it from, say, Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an extra amenity that the Wilderness Lodge obviously can't do. That's the they're going to have a different savanna. You're looking in towards the savanna, so it'll be an expansion of the savanna. I've heard too, Scopa. I don't know if you've heard this, but they might be doing a running trail somewhere around the Animal Kingdom.
Past the lions.
Yeah, past the lions, exactly.
That'll get you going.
It's the sprinting part of the run, Forrest, run.
That area that they're building that to the left of the main lodge. Is that correct?
That's right. So if you go in the entrance, it's a stretch. But the rooms will be connected. The buildings are supposed to be connected. So. And
it's a huge section. So
yeah,
I would guess we're talking maybe a quarter-mile loop, maybe.
Yeah, if you're going from like the far end of the zebra trail all the way to the opposite end of the the Animal Kingdom Villas, it's sort of like a W shape, broadly speaking. But it's going to be it's quarter mile. It could be more than a quarter mile.
That'd be kind of nice because you really can't. There's no place to run around there.
No. I mean, you can't run on Osceola Parkway or anything like that. That's just too far.
Well, you could, but.
You know what the interesting thing is going to be though, and I don't know how the rooms are going to be set up over at the Animal Kingdom Villas, but if you're in the rooms that faced sort of east in the villas, you'll be facing the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I think the best rooms are going to be those that face north, so like the far end of the villas. So it's sort of like the left part of the leftmost part of the Animal Kingdom Villas is in roughly an S shape, or half of a figure eight. Those rooms that face north, I think, are going to have the best views. But, dude, you want to talk about wandering through the wilderness? I mean, that's going to be a hike to get from the far end of the villas. They're going to have some sort of snack shop or something there, over to get to the main building. They're just going to have to.
They're going to need an oasis.
They're going to need an oasis, exactly.
I think the most confusing thing about the Animal Kingdom Villas is how many options there are to choose from.
Are there really?
Well, because you can get just a studio, you can get a standard studio, you can get a Savannah studio. You can get the value two-bedroom standard, Savannah. It's a lot of different choices.
Absolutely.
So.
And one of the things that obviously with Animal Kingdom Lodge is the amenities that you get there. Obviously, being there, having a view of the Savannah is an attraction in itself. And like Len was talking earlier about Yacht and Beach Club, with it being such a great thing for kids, and really you could stay in the room and enjoy it. I mean, here, young kids and even adults as well will really enjoy being able to see the animals from your room. I mean, it just gives you literally hours of entertainment. So that's going to wrap.
Hold on, let me say one more thing.
Yep.
Have you guys stayed in the villa rooms or the lodge itself? So the kitchen is relatively small, but it's still functional. They've got a marble countertops with a marble island. That part is good. But the bathrooms are really pretty spacious, and some of the room I think in the bathroom is there just to make it feel bigger. It's not like it's functional space where they've added miles and miles of countertops or anything.
Right.
The showers aren't as good as say Saratoga Springs or Old Key West. They're not bad. But the rest of the room is pretty big. You could have a couple people in there getting dressed at once, and it's a separate room from the rest of the. So you can actually close the door in the bathroom and have all kinds of space, and you could have people showering and stuff in there, and it wouldn't be too bad. The bedrooms I think are the same as the Animal Kingdom Lodge itself.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I am Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.